Welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Annetta Philip. News reaching us from the Northeast has it that a male suicide bomber strapped to an improvised explosive device IED has killed one civilian Joint Task Force official, injuring four others at a security formation at Baga Road area in Maiduguri. As confirmed by the Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Wakil Maye, said the incident occurred around 1 a.m. Maye added that the bomber was intercepted by the CJTF, who sighted the bomber from a distance. He, however, said that the police explosive ordnance device team had been deployed to sanitize the scene. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army says its troops have rescued 8 persons kidnapped by unknown gunmen in Kaduna State. Army spokesman Brigadier General Texas Chuku said in a statement that the hostages, comprising 3 men and 2 women and 3 children, were rescued by troops on a clearance operation along Maganda-Funta Road. Similarly, troops encountered bandits at Maidara village where they were rustling some cows. 3 members of the vigilante sustained gunshot wounds while 1 person was killed in action during the encounter. In the meantime, the Lagos State Police Command says it had commenced investigation into the reports that an unidentified lady allegedly parked her car on the 3rd Mainland Bridge and jumped into the lagoon. The command's spokesman, SP Chikeoti, while addressing the newsmen, said the police had not received any official report. He added that they were already making efforts to find out the true story. Oti, however, assured that the report of the investigation will be made public as soon as possible. To politics now, the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum has demanded the removal of the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu. The forum said that there were accumulated indications that he might rig the election in favor of President Muhammadu Buhari. Idongesit Nkanda, the chairman of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, argued that retaining the service chiefs who ought to have been retired and keeping Yakubu as INEC boss was suspicious. He added that this was in tandem with the narrative that they would play partisan roles in favor of the president. The forum, however, said nepotism and sectionalism has also eaten into the leadership of the commission. Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization, Citizens Communication and Advocacy Center, has described the call for the removal of the INEC chairman, Mahmood Yakubu, as reckless and uncalled for. The NGO said in Abuja on Monday that the call for the removal of the INEC boss is selfish, self-serving, and not in the interest of democracy. The center wants Nigerians to demand more from their elected officials ahead of the 2019 elections and charged the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, to carry out a thorough investigation into the murder and robbery case in which the Senate President was indicted. The NGO wants the police to be more professional in their investigations and avoid any pressure that may cast doubt on the outcome of the investigations.
As INEC chairman, it is not an easy job. Politicians will always do what they had to do to compromise the process. And they will always want INEC to clean their mess. And for people to be calling for his removal, for me, I think it's unjustifiable, and I think it's too early for us to go there. He's a good man. They should allow him to do his job. We should give him all the necessary protection as citizens for him to do a good job. The president of this country is a product of a free and fair election by Jiga. A precedent has been set. Nobody can rubbish it. Nobody can bring the bar down in 2019. Any attempt for that to be done will put this country in total crisis. As for the IG, the police of recent have also shown some level of performance, good job in some of the areas there they have been doing their job. However, in some other instances, they have allowed their political affiliation and maybe backups, those who are backing them, to influence their decision. But I will not outrightly call for the removal of IG. Rather, I will say he should do his job more professionally and not biased in handling issues. And that Nigerian people, at the end of the day, will be the greatest saver of democracy in Nigeria. If only we can come out together and force the security agent, they are earning money from our taxpayers' money. So they should be the people. We should call on them, including the media, the civil society, and every man of conscience should come out and put pressure on them to do their job right. The police are under enormous pressure, particularly their condition of service, so many things. Nigerians should be wary of some unscrupulous, unregistered civil society group posing as promoters of democracy, being sponsored and used as agents of destruction to orchestrate falsehood, lies, and propaganda against the legislature or the Senate president. They should not listen to them nor their falsehood. Going forward, the center recommends and advises the Inspector General of Police to be professional and apolitical in handling the issues in offer bank robbery. We call on the President Buhari, not to remain aloof of being seen protecting anybody, but wade into the issue because it's capable of derailing our democracy.
President Muhammadu Buhari has emphasized the importance of voters' education ahead of the upcoming elections in Ekiti and Osun State. The president, who was speaking at the State House in Abuja, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for its handling of the permanent voters' card registration, but insisted that the work does not stop there. He urged the electoral body to ensure that the upcoming elections are free and fair.
The only time I was seeing the INEC chairman was to insist that voter education should be emphasized so that ordinary Nigerians will believe that the Nigerian elite respect them and that their PVC, is their status. And then coupled with the card readers, God willing, we are here, but we thank technology. Because previous elections, and I'm in a position to say so, having lost 3 times, up to Supreme Court, I knew, if not of technology, it would have been the same thing. A list of constituencies were brought, votes were allocated and announced, and people were told to go to court if they don't agree with it. Now, for somebody who is looking for the next meal, where does he got the money to give to son? To demand for his marginalization. But we thank technology. With the introduction of PVC and the reader's card, votes count. And please go and emphasize this to our constituencies. Let Nigerians be respected, that they can vote anybody across any party, at any constituency. I think that will give them the pride to voluntarily go and vote. It's not easy to go to Supreme Court 3 times. I went through it. I wonder how many people will be proud of that experience in this country, in what they believe in.
Former director at the Federal Airport National Authority of Nigeria, FAN, Salamatu Baiwa, has declared her ambition to contest for the office of the National Women Leader under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Speaking in Abuja ahead of the 2019 general elections, Salamatu says her leadership ambition is fueled by the severe underrepresentation of women in political institutions. She advised Nigerian women to put their attributes and skill set to good use if they are to gain recognition in the country's political sphere and in turn plug the wide gender gap.
So for us as women, we know that we always have opportunities. All we need to do is to, trust, believe in ourselves, and continue to, empower ourselves with the knowledge, the necessary knowledge and skill that will make government to recognize us. We don't just sit down, maybe in our various places and expect to be recognized. You need to come out and be the agent of change that you are naturally, so that people can see you. And one thing I will tell you, women, by the grace of God, when I'm there, I will be your mouthpiece. I'm an advocate for women, All my life, I have always supported and encouraged women because I believe that if you support a woman, if you empower a woman, you have empowered the entire nation.
Not more than 176 party members of the All Progressives Congress will be battling for various positions in the National Working Committee, NWC, as well as national offices Aminu Masari, chairman of the screening subcommittee of the APC National Convention Planning Committee, in an interview with journalists in Abuja, said over 176 party members had purchased and submitted forms for screening. The APC National Convention is slated for June 23rd, and the party had said it would stick to its zoning formula ahead of the forthcoming National Convention, effectively shutting out aspirants from other zones other than those where certain offices had been zoned. You're watching news now on TV360. We'll be back in just a moment. Do stay with us.
People to get only 10 people to register to vote, 10 new voters. Each of us standing here today, when you get back home, when you get to your place of work, your school, try and get 10 new people that do not have their PVC to register to vote. We're going to take on our website onevoice.ng, onevoice.ng. Please go there, give us the information. If you get 10 people to vote, then you're amongst us.
So at least start with your voter's card and begin to use that to bargain about the type of person you want to see on February 16, 2019 and March 2nd on the ballot paper.
So we want to focus on people who haven't voted before. It's 100,000 people who are looking to pledge that, because that gives us a minimum of 1 million new voters.
Instead of to say, my vote no go count now, try vote first, maybe you see whether it will count, you know.
Hello, welcome to Business News. I am Fidelia Aguncha. The Minister of Works, Power and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has assured that the collapsed bridge on Mokwa-Jeba Road will be back in use within 72 hours. The Federal Road Safety Corps FRSC had on Sunday morning alerted motorists on the collapse of the bridge due to heavy rainfall. The agency had said the bridge, which is 18 kilometers from Mokwa town in Niger State, caved in following a downpour which affected vehicular movements from both sides of the road. Fashola, speaking to journalists in Zaria, Kaduna State, explained that the ministry had deployed personnel from relevant agencies to provide measures that would ease traffic on the collapsed bridge for motorists within the next 72 hours. Morocco and Nigeria have agreed a cooperation plan to press on with a proposed pipeline transporting gas to the North African Kingdom along the Atlantic coast. King Mohammed VI and President Muhammadu Buhari on Sunday oversaw the signing of the accord in Rabat, detailing the way forward for the mega project first agreed in 2016. The two countries are looking to build an extension to Morocco of a pipeline that has been pumping gas from the resource-rich southern Nigeria to Benin, Togo, and Ghana since 2010. The proposed pipeline, to be built in several phases, will measure some 5,660 kilometers and respond to the growing needs of the transit countries and Europe over the next 25 years. Oil prices fell on Monday, pulled down by rising Russian production and U.S. drilling activity, creeping to its highest in more than 3 years. However, many analysts were looking less at markets and more at politics, as U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un have both arrived Singapore for a summit on Tuesday that may lay the groundwork for ending a nuclear standoff between the two old foes. Brent crude futures were at $76.18 a barrel, while U.S. crude futures were down by 18 cents to trade at $65.56 a barrel. The Nigeria Stock Exchange today continued its upward trend, starting the week in the greens, with a total of 3,832 deals exchanging hands at 3.888 billion naira. The market closed with a 0.45% rise in the all-share index, which stood at 38,844.82 basis points. The market capitalization, on the other hand, climbed by 64 billion naira from the last traded session to close the day at 14.071 trillion naira. Moving on to the trading floor, today's market had a total of 40% gainers and 20 losers, while equities of Presco, Nascon Allied PLC, Nigeria Brewers, and Flour Mill topped the gainers chart. It was, however, a bad day for WAPCO, Julius Berger Nigeria PLC, Eternal Oil, and BOC Gases as their stocks led the losers table. Meanwhile, Ikeja Hotel, United Capital, Africa Prudential, and Dangote Sugar were traders' favorites, having the most traded stock for the day. Well, that's been business news. News Now will continue right after this break. Just stay with us.
Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. Do the right thing, auntie. Corruption not in my country. Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. Do the right thing, auntie. Corruption not in my country. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, corruption not in my country. Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. Do the right thing, auntie. If you are given a job to do it. Use the right materials, yeah, my brother, sister. Corruption not in my country. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, corruption not in my country. Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. Do the right thing, auntie. Corruption not in my country. Do the right thing, brother. Do the right thing, sister. Do the right thing, auntie. Corruption not in my country. Oh, hey, yeah. Oh, corruption not in my country.
On the foreign scene, Spain has offered to take in a humanitarian ship stranded in international waters with 629 migrants aboard, as Italy and Malta both continue to refuse to let it dock. The European Union and United Nations Refugee Agency had called for a swift end to the standoff involving the Gibraltar-flagged Aquarius ship, whose passengers include 11 children and 7 pregnant women rescued off the coast of Libya at the weekend. The ship has sailed north towards Italy, but Matteo Salvini, Interior Minister, blocked it, saying it should go to Malta instead. Malta, however, refused, saying it had nothing to do with the rescue mission, which was overseen by Italian Coast Guard. The tiny island nation, with fewer than 500,000 inhabitants, says it already accepts more refugees per capita than Italy, which has taken in more than 600,000 boat migrants since 2014. 5 people have died in Kenya as a result of the Rift Valley fever disease in the past week. According to the World Health Organization, this highly contagious disease is transmitted to humans by mosquitoes or close contact with contaminated animals' blood or organs. Abdi Hakim Bello, County Executive Committee member for Health for Waji County in northeastern Kenya, where the deaths were reported, said 2 people died in hospital, while the other 3 died at home. The first death occurred last Monday. Bello said another 2 people thought to be ill from the disease had been hospitalized. The last outbreak of this disease killed more than 200 people a decade ago. Moving on to sports stories, Coach Kenneth Ross says he's confident that Nigeria will be ready in time for their opening Group D clash against Croatia. The Super Eagles head into the global showpiece in uninspiring fashion, with the record of their final 3 friendlies reading 2 losses and a draw. But the German tactician hinges his hope on the ability of his team to rise to the occasion together, and is confident of the 3-time African champions handling Zlatko Dalish's men a tough test on Saturday. Nigeria is the lowest ranked team in Group D, made up of Argentina, Croatia and Iceland. Former Arsenal captain Patrick Vieira has been hired as manager of French club Nice on Monday after leaving his role as head coach of New York City FC. Vieira is set to replace Lucien Favre at Nice. Vieira has been linked with the Arsenal job after Arsene Wenger stepped down last month, but will now return to his native France for his first coaching job in Europe. Vieira led New York City to 2 consecutive playoff appearances, and he leaves with the team in second place in the Eastern Conference. Rafael Nadal beat Dominic Thiem in straight sets 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 to secure a record-extending 11th French Open title at Roland Garros. Australia's 7th seed team strained every muscle trying to cling on to the Spaniard and at times even gained a precarious foothold in his first Grand Slam final. But it ultimately proved a futile mission, as just like in all but 2 of Nadal's previous 87 matches here, the Spaniard proved invincible, winning 2 hours and 44 minutes. Sunday's result marks the 6th consecutive Grand Slam won by either Nadal or 20 times major champion Roger Federer. Thank you for watching News Now. You can watch some of our other programs and follow us on all social media platforms at TV360 Nigeria. I am Annette Felix. Bye for now.